Good morning and welcome to my little world. Today I'm showing you the progress I'm making on my painted lady, and then I'm going to jump back to the Victorian Apartment Building because I'm still working on this and it's not done yet. And I tried to work on it all last week and it just was not coming together. Today it's coming together finally, but it took me all week last week to figure out what I was doing on some things with this. So I thought I would show you the progress, but it's been slow going. So the trouble I had with this was that I had these ideas of what I wanted to do, but nothing was coming together and I wasn't finding the right materials for it, and I don't know, it just didn't want to happen yet. So finally on Saturday I was able to make some progress and I figured out a couple things on here. And so I tried some things that didn't work. I tried attaching some paper with Mod Podge, and I also came up with this idea for the windows. I was trying to figure out how could I make the windows look both opaque and transparent at the same time. And I came up with what I thought was a good idea, and it was to use interfacing fabric that I had. But glue and I are really not very good friends. I don't like using glue. I do it, but I try to avoid it when I can. So my bright idea for this exterior has been to use adhesive materials, washi tape and other kinds of tape, and adhesive backed vinyl and things like that. And that has worked well. Like, the way I started doing this was I started putting washi tape on these designs on the side, and that was working well, and I wanted to use that more, but I didn't have the right colors for some things. I didn't know what colors I wanted to use on things. Did I want to make the windows white? Did I want to make them black? Did I want to make them brown? And I ended up coming with this idea where I made them brown, and I was just using this brown paper I have, but I didn't like how it was acting with the glue. It just didn't seem like it was gonna stick that well, and my idea really was to do most of this exterior with something that was adhesive, and I wanted to do the windows with something that was adhesive, but what I had was too see-through or it was too opaque, and so I just didn't know what I was going to do. But I ended up coming up with the idea of painting this, just painting some yellow, like pale yellow paint on the windows. You can see here that I've done that on this side and I haven't done the windows on it yet. And then I had tried putting this interfacing over them, and that looked really good, but when I put the glue on it, it wasn't looking right. It kind of wrinkled up because it was fabric. So I went to the store, to Hobby Lobby, and I looked there, didn't find anything, came home empty-handed. Then the next day I went to Michael's and I finally settled on this Cricut vinyl that's called Frosted, but it's still pretty see-through. So that's why I needed the paint behind it, because there was the design of the artwork that I already had on the building behind the windows, and since I'm moving it over, the windows didn't line up anymore, and on the old windows they had candles in them and they had like this yellow glow around them, and I decided that the yellow looked good, but it was kind of a nighttime scene. So anyway, the idea was that the vinyl adhesive would stick to the underneath part, and I needed that to happen, and then I can just Mod Podge over the top of it. And I wanted to get more black washi tape, and I couldn't find what I wanted. And so I ended up buying some black tape. It's more like duct tape kind of thing, but it's twice as wide as what I need. So then I had to cut it all in half in order to make these windows, which I managed to do. And it's a good thing I bought some new scissors not too long ago that are sharp, because my old ones are just all gummed up, and it would have been a mess if I had tried to cut with them. But anyway, it was just kind of one thing after another, but I finally did figure these out. I got some flat black vinyl, and I cut out the arches, and you can see here I had tried some other things here, so it needs to be touched up a little bit. But I cut out the arches with the black vinyl, and then you can see how shiny this new duct tape is that I'm using on the windows. But I discovered that when I Mod Podge over it, then it looks good. It's not shiny anymore, because that's what I did. I Mod Podged over all these black lines that I had on the washi tape, and that was super shiny before, and now it's not. So that's working. It's all working now. It's just a matter of putting it together. I made little cutouts to be the curtains under the windows. So this side of the house now is mostly done. And I'm also working on the other side, which is the front door. And I did manage to get that done, and that has mostly washi tape on it. And that's that brown paper that I used for the door. And I'm still not quite sure exactly how the door is going to end up. But I tried using the brown paper on the windows as well, and it just didn't really work. But anyway, I have this part now, and I have some brick that I'm using on it, and then I'm going to do these windows. And then up at the top, I have a foam board that's cut out for the rooftops. So now we jump to the Victorian Apartment Building, and the topic of today's video, which is this little 1 to 12 scale family that lives in the Victorian Apartment Building, which is what I'm calling my china cabinet in the kitchen. And I thought I would show you another part of it today. So this family lives in these 4 rooms, and we kind of pretend that there's some other rooms, some other bedrooms in the building behind them that you can't see. So we'll start with the living room here. And here's the mom and dad. They're dressed very elegantly. This is a very posh family. They all have pretty clothes, and they have a beautiful, elegant apartment setting. And I've put lots of fun things in here, some things that I used to have in some other doll houses. So for the wallpaper in this room and in the bathroom, I used a printout that I got on Etsy. And when I went to the print shop, you know, part of what happens in my doll houses, and as I was explaining to you about what I was doing on the Painted Lady house, I have this very conservative nature where conservation, more like conservation than conservative, because conservative can mean other things that aren't really true about me, but conservation of resources. I always want to use what I have and not waste things, and sometimes it's almost to a point of fault. But with this paper, I wasn't quite sure how to print it out. When I did have it printed out at a UPS store, there was a possibility of doing it in 2 different sizes. I did part of it in a big size, and I did the other parts in a small size. And so what happened was, when I brought them home, they hadn't actually printed exactly right. They had cut off some parts, But what I did was I just cut them up and fit them together, and it all worked out. So I'm happy with it. And, you know, I don't even know if it printed as nicely as it should have looked. But again, I'm happy with it. I think it looks good. And you can actually see here that I pieced the big and small parts together, and I just went around the room, and then I made them longer. See this piece down here, that was a part of the big print, and then I added it to the small print to make it tall enough for the walls, because it was only, the sheets were only 8.5 by 11, and so I added parts of it so that it would go all the way down. I put some lace up at the top of it, and I think I used mostly just double stick tape to stick it to the foam board that's underneath it. So I made the window here. This was printed, but then I used a ribbon and some tulle to make kind of a 3D curtain in front of that. And here's a little Buddha statue that I happen to have. And so they have beautiful works of art in their living room. Here's a soap dish. It's got a little bit of water in it, and just this little broken lid from a glass bottle to look like a water feature in their living room. There's a beautiful red rug on the floor here, some red chairs, and a red couch, Victorian couch. This is a piece of artwork that I've had for a very long time. I think maybe my parents got it for me in Europe, a little miniature of a Madonna and Child statue. I think I've had it since I was a teenager. It's standing on top of an upside down candle holder as a table. This little statue I ordered from Amazon online several years ago, and it's very pretty. It's just standing on a spool of thread and a little wooden disc. This is a pink quartz that I have. And then there's just a sticker here of an urn. I also used some other stickers on the sides of the curtains there. So they're just lounging about in their leisure. And over on this side, we have one of their little girls. This table is another upside down candle holder, and silver. We have a little cake that is an eraser, a little miniature candelabra, and some little silver dishes and utensils, and a couple of goblets that are plastic. The little girl has a very pretty red dress on. The mom also is dressed in red and ivory, so I thought the colors all went nicely with the couch and chairs in here. And we have two more of the chairs arranged back here, and this is a little cabinet that I made with one of the little dressers you can get at the dollar store. I painted it brown, put some copper on the handles, put some little books that I made that were printouts, a couple of glasses. So this top part was another piece that I got at the dollar store, a wooden piece that I cut up and painted and added some shelves to. I used a toothpick to put the little runner there that that's in front of the plates. And I had this little violin statue that I had gotten on Amazon a number of years ago, and another little thing that I have no idea what it is, but it looks decorative. So that's that room. Oh, and here we have a doorway that goes into the hall, and it has another urn here, just a sticker. And then this is the other part of the glass jar that I'm using as an umbrella stand. So then we go over here into the bathroom, and I used some of the wallpaper in here as well. So I just cut out some pieces and I put them on the wall. And on the back, some more pieces, and then I just, in order to get that to stay up high, I just stuck some paper behind it and kind of pushed it up under the shelf above it to keep it up, because I didn't want to attach it to the wood. And then here's a foam board divider between the rooms, and I put some scrapbook paper on that, another little piece of the wallpaper. Then I have a little gold mirror on it, and this very pretty bathroom set that I also got several years ago, that's very pretty, with the sink and the bathtub and the toilet with little roses on them, and the toilet brush. And then this it's just a little cutout that I just stuck behind the bathtub, that again was part of the wallpaper that I had printed. I think that was like the big part, the big size. And then I have a pretty doily on the floor as a rug. And this is the other part of the screen that I have in the bunny living room. This is the other half, and this is the other side, the design that's on the other side, which is some very pretty pink flowers, so that goes nicely in this bathroom. And then on the wall back here is a sticker surrounded by a gold frame. So now I need to climb on my stool, because I'm not very tall, so that we can see the next floor. And up here, this is the nursery, the baby's room. There's a rocking chair here, and there's a fireplace. And I kind of went with a yellow, it's hard to see in this, but there's kind of a yellow cast to this wallpaper, even though it's got pink on it. And so I painted this little dresser from the dollar store yellow. And this is a little table that came from the rosin sets that I have. I put it in here in the baby's room. This, I don't know what this is. I think I got it at Goodwill. It might be like a card holder or something. There's a little baby in it. I put some fabric around it to be the mattress. When I saw it at Goodwill, it just looked like a crib to me. So that's what I've made it into. And a little rocking chair. So that's the baby's room. And now we come to this big room, and Grandma and Grandpa are here with more of the kids. And there's 5 children in this family. There's the baby and the little girl downstairs in the living room, and then there's 3 more of these little guys. So we have this guy, and he's sitting in a little swing that I got in the fairy section of Hobby Lobby Miniatures. And this little girl is sitting in a little pink chair that I got in the fairy section, and it's a little butterfly, so that's really pretty. And she's sitting there playing with her little bear, and she has a book. See if we can focus on this. There we are, Dr. Seuss. Green Eggs and Ham. So she's reading that. I got these dolls on Amazon. They're 1/12 scale. This little boy is dressed in a suit and he's playing with a little cat in his lap. So behind him, there's a little bed, and this is one of the little beds that comes at the dollar store, and I made some bedding for it yesterday. A little pillow and cover. I put some flowers. Oh, well, I painted the furniture white and then painted some, just put some flower stickers on the bed, and here's the dresser. And I added some fabric to the top of the dresser and some lace around it and just Mod Podged that. There's a lamp and another book. Here's a window. It's above there. A little hard to see. It's got a lot of glare on it, but it shows a tree branches behind it as if you're looking out the window. Here's another window. Again, difficult to see because of the glare, but it has sky behind it because they're up on the 4th floor, so it's pretty high up there. So as you can see, I'm just using the wood of the china cabinet as the walls and floor for this room, and then I just have a piece of scrapbook paper as a rug. Here's a little table and chairs, again from the dollar store, that I painted white and then put some stickers and paint and fabric on. There's a couple of books there and a piece of foam with a little piece of wood stuck in the top of it that looks like a candle. This is a pretty little couch that I'm using in here, which is a ring holder. And I found that at Goodwill. And I thought the pink and white was pretty in this room. So then we have some toys here. We have a metal bicycle and wagon, a little train and another little train. And all the metal things I think I got in the fairy shop at Hobby Lobby. So over on this side, we have Grandma and Grandpa. They're here with the children. Behind them is a screen door that I thought was really pretty at Hobby Lobby. And I put a picture behind it, which you can't see that well, but the idea is that you're looking outside and there's some things far away. And we also pretend that there's a staircase back there that goes down to the next floor, and there's a hallway back there that goes to the other bedrooms. So Grandma and Grandpa are dressed very nicely, and he is sitting in a chair, which actually I'm going to have to get off my stool and scoot over to show you. So first I'll show you the table. I put a brown wash on the chairs and tables so they look a little bit weathered. There's a basket with some bread and some dishes and a salad. And then Grandpa is sitting on a little chair that I made out of an open ring box glued onto another box. And I want to put some arms on this chair, but I haven't found the right thing yet for those. Actually, I have the right thing, but it's in use somewhere else. So that is the 4 rooms for this family that are in my Victorian apartment building. So thank you for coming by today to see what I've been doing. And I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.